Hi guys, I'm Viomesh. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about none other than Apple with Krishna Surya. Krishna Surya has completed his 6 month internship at Apple and he got the PPO as well. So today he is going to share his journey, preparation strategy, as well as interview experience. Mind it, his journey is more interesting than the interview experience. So I would suggest you should watch this video completely. And if you like the video, please like it and please subscribe my channel and share the video with your friends. Hi Krishna, welcome to my channel.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Ramesh. Firstly, thanks for a sweet intro. Hello everyone. I'm Krishna Surya Bogavilli. I'm currently pursuing final year in electronics engineering from National Institute of Technology, Warangal. And as just Viomesh stated before, I've backed an Apple internship on campus and later converted that into a full time.
So you are not from CS background. So how do you judge yourself as a coder or programmer at the beginning of the placement season? Means at that time you feel like after the second year, you feel that you are a good programmer and crack the Google, Apple kind of company.
To be honest, at start of the placement season, I don't rank myself very good in programming. But the thing is, in our college in first year, we also have a CSC subject, which is called Problem Solving and Computer Programming. And I got a glimpse of C programming in that over there. Back then, I was like, I'm decent enough in programming. Like, if something's on my mind, I could code it good enough. That was the frame of mind I was in. And to be honest, when I was actually giving the online test for different companies back then, at that point of time, I was not even aware about this dynamic programming and using graphs and many other data structures to optimize the code.
As you have told us that you are like a good problem solver, but average
Yeah,
coder because you have not studied many of the concepts like dynamic programming and other
exactly.
concepts. So, how did you prepare then? How did you prepare for internship in a short period of time? And what do you suggest? How do you, what is required to get an internship?
For a non-CSC guy, it is always tough when compared to CSC guys because we don't have proper teaching and guidance when it comes to coding. I'd say for any non-CS guy, it's firstly so important to know the depth in each topic because it looks pretty much straightforward when you learn the topic, but when you look at the different amount of problems, there'd be a lot. So for me, in that phase, my friends and seniors helped me a lot. And yeah, the suggestions which I would give is you need to have a good coding atmosphere around you. Like people around you must be interested in coding, else you'd get satisfied by just learning the topics, and later you just ignore to know the depth. And when the real time comes, you just understand how ignorant you are when compared to others. So the first company for which I've written online test was Microsoft. And I don't know if this is a general trend or not, but in our campus, Microsoft actually tests most of our fundamentals in the coding round, not the very fancy dynamic programming questions. So, and it sorted a good amount of people, around 40 to 50. And in my very first online test, I got shorted for Microsoft, and I thought, so yeah, I belong here now. So this is what I want to set as a career path. But later, we had a group fly around in which I got grouped with computer science guys, in which I was totally knocked out with the knowledge they actually had back then. And then I understood, okay, there's a lot to this, not just this. And my practice totally revolves around the different online tests which I've given for different companies. Back then, like the routine was wake up, write an online test, later analyze your mistakes, do more practice on the question which I've gone through in this online test. And I've done rigorous practice back then while writing these online tests for different companies, and I've seen good results actually in short time. Like 20 in 15 to 20 days, I later got shorted to Oracle and Samsung back to back. But they started they started a different phase. Like now, I understood that I was not ready for interviews yet because uh, the learning which I had then was online tests and interviews are two totally different phases, and you need to prepare properly because in coding rounds it's totally you need not explain anyone. It's up to you. You sometimes test the code by writing the code which you get in mind with the concepts you get in mind, but that doesn't go well in interviews. That you must immediately give them the best optimized solution. You need to present that in the best way possible. That was a learning back then.
So how did you prepare for interview specifically?
And the other thing is, I rigorously prepared about how I must firstly introduce myself. Like when you ask, tell you about yourself, I actually prepared that in a specific way that I highlight the topics which I'm more confident in, and actually make the interviewer ask me questions only on those topics firstly. So
Okay,
that was
that
where I took more
means
time.
that is a good trick.
Yeah, I
Means
use it
if you,
to yeah, I use it to watch myself in mirror, like see my expressions and all. Like I took that to that minute detail back then.
now we are going to ask the main thing about the Apple. I have heard that
Yeah,
toughest part or major hurdle is getting shortlisted in a Apple. That means we can say in a Apple it is really hard to get your resume shortlisted. So what was your experience about it?
yeah. I think people who are here exclusively to watch my interview experience would be totally disheartened after hearing the procedure in which Apple actually hired me. So what happened was in the vacation after sixth semester in early June, Apple visited our campus and we were asked to fill a doc in which there were several questions. In which actually there was a disclaimer at the top that only people with excellent coding skills should apply. To be honest, that's a very serious statement for a non-CSE guy because we would be totally frightened seeing that. But yeah, we took the step and we applied. And in that, there was also a column for coding achievement. There's a column for pointer, and we uploaded our resumes. And the thing was, Apple didn't had online a coding round in our campus, which may be a big shock for most of the people here. But yeah, and the procedure in which they followed was there was resume shortlisting, and yeah, as YMS just stated, it's very tough because firstly, Apple gave a shortlist of four people in which my name wasn't there as well.
But you got the internship, so it's a, like a contradictory statement. So how you got the chance to face the interview and clear the interview?
Yeah, things turned out well. That one day when I was actually sleeping in the evening, I got a call at 5 from a guy who actually said, "I'm from Apple. I'm so and so guy from Apple. Are you okay with an interview at 12 o'clock tonight?" As I was sleeping, it took me time to get into my senses. So I was thinking it was some sort of a dream or prank at first, but later realized that no, this is all true. And he is seriously from Apple, and he was asking me for an interview at 12 midnight. I said that wouldn't be an appropriate time to actually give an interview. So he said, "Is it so? You'll have an interview at 7 o'clock in the morning." So I only had 12 hours before my interview, when which is suddenly being informed to me.
So you were not at all
Yeah,
expecting
after
any
12.
interview call. So you were not at all
Yeah,
expecting any interview call from Apple as you were not shortlisted, and suddenly they call you
yes,
and
exactly.
say, "Give the interview in, get ready for interview in 12 hours."
Yeah, like I'm completely not expecting that because the first shortlist was in early June, and this is in late in July. Sorry, this is in early July, which I'm talking. I got a call on July 1st or 2nd. It is actually 1 month after I filled the doc. I totally forgot even that I filled a doc for Apple back then. But yeah, as this was an immediate interview, I contacted all the four guys who were initially shortlisted about the interview experience. To be honest, that wasn't very much helpful because my questions were not anywhere related to them. But yeah, that was what I actually prepared for that 12 hours.
So suddenly,
And yeah, in the morning,
so
yeah,
suddenly you
suddenly,
got the call for interview, and
yeah,
in 12 hours you somehow prepared your mind that you are going to take Apple interview
yeah,
finally. So how was your experience with the first round of interview, and what did they ask in the interview?
yeah. Like coming to the main part, there is only one round which happened for me for my internship, and that was what you're asking now. So firstly, I introduced myself and he asked if do you have any projects to highlight. So I've done two mini projects using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are not so big when compared to the projects which other people do. But I have some more projects, but I'm totally confident on these. So at that point of time, I thought it's better to keep these because I thought to prepare about the rest for my placements and also it was a 1 month. It was a month later, so I firstly kept these. I said I'm confident with these two, and to my surprise, it was about the calculator, which the interview was like we were talking in the interview about this calculator with the questions he asked around 40 minutes, which is a complete surprise for me because I never expected there would be 40 minutes
So
questions
you
on calculator.
so you built
Yeah,
a calculator. This was your project,
yeah,
and the discussion on the calculator goes for around 30
was
40
around
minutes.
40 minutes.
So what did he ask?
Yeah, the thing was that at some point of time I was expecting him if he would ask me to share my screen about this calculator because for the one I've done there would also be an interface, right? So I thought at some point of time he might ask that, but he never really asked that. So, but later after getting into Apple, I understood that the questions which he asked were more relevant to the team because for us, the people who were interviewed belong to the same team which I got recruited in. So the questions were firstly he asked me what are the difficulties you faced which when you're building this calculator and how did you actually implement a feedback loop to understand the various errors which the potential errors which someone can find. Actually, to be honest, I am totally surprised that he asked a feedback loop for a calculator. He also asked how did you avoid printing errors on the main screen? How do you check these errors and all? And I think he got pretty much satisfied in which the way I answered. And that's the reason why I think I bagged the internship offer. I'm not aware about others' interviews because we're at home, totally isolated,
So
not knowing about others. Yeah,
so most of the interview was based on your project, which was calculator, which is really a surprise.
exactly.
And apart from that, what else he asked in the interview? Any technical subject or coding?
Yeah. After this 40-minute mark, he himself said, let's switch tracks now as we are running out of time. So he asked me some basic questions on data structures and a backtracking question on linked list. And then he asked these questions on OOPs, which are not quite common actually. Like he asked me about memory leak. He asked me about copy constructors, and that's pretty much. And he asked me a few database questions, and that was it. That made the interview around 1 hour. Then, there were no fancy dynamic programming or graph questions asked for me in my Apple interview. Yeah, they weren't being asked, but yeah, the interview mostly focused on how good we have our basics how good we established our basics, so that we can point every minute detail.
So after this round of the interview, there was any next round, and how did you, what was your experience?
Yeah, like just as you, how curious you are, like back then when he asked, "Do you have any questions for me?" Firstly, I asked for feedback. Then I asked about the work-life balance, and then I've asked a question about how we can build various multiple career, like how we can explore various career paths within Apple and all. Then I asked the same question which you posed me, like what's the process further? So is this the one? Like I didn't ask, is this the only round, because I was never expecting that. So I asked him, so what's the process going further? Will we have an HR round? Will we have a technical round and all? And he said, I am too not completely aware. I'm not a complete HR guy. I'm a developer as like you're gonna be as well. And yeah, and he said maybe the recruiting team would inform your campus about the further process. And to be honest, till 2 days I've got no response. So I thought maybe okay, this is also done maybe because I
I
don't
am
have
not
any
selected.
very big project. Yeah, but after 2 days, I got a call from our campus said that so you actually backed this internship offer. So it was all. I was so much. I was in shock and happy at the same moment because I was also a bit disappointed that Apple actually chose me because I don't really. Back then I didn't really think I'm so eligible for Apple, but later I understood when I sat for placements that okay, I built my skill good enough that
Yeah,
I can compete. I compete with others pretty well.
guys, you can see the person who was not thinking about it, who cracked the apple. First of all, he was surprised that he was selected, he was shortlisted, and he was also surprised there is only one round of interview. So everything was a surprise for him.
Yeah, even the timing of the internship itself is surprise, right? Nobody expects an internship in June because people generally end their internships in June. But
Okay.
I gave my interview then and I started my internship in July. Yeah.
Okay. So now, how was your internship at Apple? What was the work culture of Apple? We have heard so much about that Apple has the best work culture. So how did you feel that time?
We must accept it has the best work culture because yeah, like there was no training sessions as all which I generally hear which software industries have. I've been given the topics which I would work in a project, and I was given like they never really gave me any time period in which I need to learn this. But once I informed them, they actually asked me to ask doubts when I have, and I really asked, though it's a silly doubt at that moment, I asked all these doubts to my mentor. And once I'm totally done with these basics, they actually explained me what the project is and what I actually need to work on. And in Apple, like there were actually a handful of interns hired all over India, and no two interns work in the same team. Actually, all work in different teams. But Apple always ensured that there were some events, some leadership series events, which they actually call them. The HR team conducted some events with very eminent personalities within Apple who have a very good amount of experience for every 2 weeks, and they use it to answer all these doubts which we have on how we need to build a career. Yeah, that's pretty encouraging because being virtual, we never expected that. We thought we would miss a lot, but yeah, at least I'm happy that we had these events at least.
So your internship was virtual, and there was not a training session, which was you were expecting that time. So did you feel it is challenging, or how was your project? Means. what was your
Yeah,
contribution there? It is a big project and you contribute some way. And tell us about how was it?
yeah. My internship project was I worked on an application processor, which is used to process the cellular logs which our team actually received. So yeah, this isn't an already established project. I actually worked on this project from scratch, which I'm really happy with because I feel this project belongs to me now because if someone actually needs to work on this, they actually need to go through my code. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, and it is challenging enough because it may not it it didn't involve with the learning which I've done in the early phase. I didn't really needed a lot of training later while doing the project, but it actually demanded a lot of working hours from me. And if I get any doubt, the problem here was my team was in Bangalore, and all the people there are. I was the only developer. I was the first developer from Bangalore when it comes to my team, and the other developers were from Germany and US. So I need to wait till lunch to talk with my Germany mentor. If the problem is of some XY reason, and if that's of some Z reason, I need to wait till night to actually talk with my US mentor. So yeah, it was like me doing both day and night shifts. But I thought this is a very big company, a dream company for a lot of people here. So I thought, let me take some light because I have a decent pointer as of now. So I thought, let's
How
keep my heart and soul completely into my internship. Yeah,
how
go
was
ahead.
your manager and mentor in Apple? Means what did you feel? They are very helping or they just want the work to be done?
No, like to be honest, these people are here are very busy. My team people were always very busy. And I would say that I got the best mentor and manager because they were so supportive to me. They also answered the very stupid doubts which I asked in the very first phase of the internship. Back our team mostly works on various cellular protocol stacks, which I am from Tripoli and I have no knowledge on. And when I the work involved me talking with several of my different teammates to actually uh, uh, write the code in a way that it would be helpful to everyone. And at the first glance, I never actually understood what the terminology which they used. So I use it to write them down, or I use it to note them down in a note file, and ask at night to my mentor about all these. And he never really got annoyed while I was asking these, but he also helped me about what all I need to learn to actually to make myself totally sufficient to the team. Yeah, but within 1 or 2 months, I got all the pieces covered, and yeah, I got along well from then with everything. Then yeah, I also helped some of my new teammates who joined Bangalore as developers on setting up the environment and all. That is a very big thing for me because just a month back, I was a guy actually looking around for everyone to help. And then later, I myself helped some full time employees. I myself as an intern helped them. So, yeah, things changed around real quick. But yeah, it was a lot challenging. And all the people there, all the teammates over there, though they are busy, they always took time to explain me everything.
What it takes to convert the internship into PPO? Like what tips you want to give to convert internship and PPO?
Yeah, and coming to that, PPO never comes so easy. You need to put your heart and soul into it. Uh, you need to though you're not understanding the work immediately, you actually need to take time and understand what you're actually lacking, and you need to accomplish yourself to meet all those needs. You need to have good relations with your manager because ultimately he's the guy who matters, right? So you always need to have very good relations with your manager. And yeah, and the very big learning which I've learned that my mentor actually stated in the later part of my internship was, uh, like when after I got this PPO, I talked to my mentor that I finally bagged this PPO and all. He said, it, from the first itself, the manager and mentor were actually impressed with me and are actually in thoughts to convert me, but they really waited for me to ask that. Like you need to take that first step to actually ask them about this full-time conversion. Else they would be an impression that you never really are expecting a full-time employment. So yeah, you need to take that first step and you need to be cautious because you must not ask that in the very first in the
Month or
very first
week.
phase of the internship itself. Yeah, you need to take some time. For me, as it is a 5 month internship, I've asked after 3 months. But yeah, when it comes to 3 months, you need to figure it out at which point of time you need to ask. But yeah, you need to ask that.
So, guys, he's saying good rapport and good relationship with the manager and mentor, and both things can be built only by uh, giving the heart and soul to your internship and perform good in the internship. So, thank you, Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, firstly, for this opportunity.
Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you, Krishna, once again.
Yeah. Just a point which I wanted to add is like, don't get disheartened if you are just starting up and you're not tracking all these companies. Even that's my story. Actually, I never cracked in the very first place. Be honest and sincere in your preparation. Your time surely comes when you are really ready. And yeah, and finally you might end up in Apple like me if you actually work hard.